All right, now we're going to look at one of the key sectors. If a country, I think it's one of the yardsticks to look at an economy and how it's developing. And this is the insurance sector. Now, the insurance sector in Kenya is betting big on innovation to grow numbers in 2024, with the country's penetration being just below 3% and not growing fast. Innovation will be key to growing numbers, especially among the younger demographic. Is KTN's Peter Wakaba with just what the industry says this entails.
Just how old were you when you got your first insurance policy and paid your first premium? It is a question that gets asked a lot about many different things in life, like your first beer, your first kiss, even your first day at school, but not really about insurance. So just how old were you when that happened?
I got my first insurance cover when I was 25 years. Actually, that was in my second job.
I got my first insurance cover when I was 22, when I was first employed by the Standard.
I was 23 years old. I got my first cover because it was part of the added advantages I got when I was employed at my first job place.
It is also a question that industry players and the regulators say will now be key in driving insight into the Kenyan insurance industry and beyond in Africa, so as to inform the drive to get younger consumers to take up insurance and mitigate against their risk, thus driving uptake of insurance. Consider that the industry registered a growth of between 12 and 13% in the year 2023 to hit a high of 350 billion shillings in gross premiums. This is slightly lower than the 14% achieved in the year 2022, when gross premiums across the industry hit a total of 310 billion Kenya shillings, up from 271 billion Kenya shillings achieved in gross premiums in the year 2021. Though these figures are commendable when compared with the rest of sub-Saharan Africa outside of South Africa, the fact that insurance in Kenya has not grown faster should be cause for concern. The continued low uptake of insurance in Kenya is one of the things that keeps the insurance regulator in the country, Godfrey Kiptum, up at night, with the factors driving this trend now in his crosshairs.
When you buy an insurance policy as a member of the public, do you know what you are actually buying into? What is the level of transparency that we get from our insurance players? Are all the cards on the table? What is the level of information asymmetry that exists between you and your customers?
He takes the example of the gas blast that occurred in Nairobi recently, with several people dead, hundreds injured and hospitalized, and millions in property destroyed. When the illegal gas bottling plant went up in flames, insurance would have been key in mitigating the negative impact and enabling people get back on their feet.
I want to believe that those people have an insurance cover that will also take care of the liabilities that have arisen and also compensate those people who have suffered huge losses and which are still continuing to count.
The fact of the matter, though, is that many of the victims are not insured and cannot hope for any kind of compensation, with insurance in Kenya and across much of Africa being the exception rather than the norm, especially with many businesses operating in the informal sector. Simon Chelugui is the Cabinet Secretary or Minister in charge of the SME sector.
In our perspectives, insurance plays an integral part in financial inclusion, financial literacy, and financial penetration, and also, by extension, financial inclusion.
Indeed, uptake of insurance in Kenya remains very low at just 2.3% of GDP, compared to a global average of over 6%. That is a fact that is not lost on many.
Taiwan has insurance premium that is equivalent to the whole continent of Africa and a population of 1.5 billion people to a country of 23 million people. So you still have a long way to go.
But the industry says that its future growth and potential lies in creating knowledge and using innovation to reach and tap into the growing number of young people across the country.
Innovation plays a very key role because that way then we are able to anticipate the needs of customers in view of the ever-changing environment, and then preparing or innovating products or services that then respond to those changing needs.
Others in the industry say branching out to develop new products that cover aspects of the economy not covered before will be key. One such product has been weather-based index insurance.
The two areas that we as APA are working on is one is the MSMEs to see if we can convince them to take out covers, and the other areas is farmers both for crop and livestock to give them better covers and really improve their livelihood.
Yet another player, Britam Insurance, is basing its future plans on growing innovation internally by putting up an innovation lab to foster little ideas that grow into big business.
Britam has decided to go this route of investing in a beta lab where ideas of young people reimagining the future as we go into AI, generative and predictive AI, because we are convinced that that's where the future lies. We can choose to wait for the future to find us, or we can choose to be part and parcel of determining this future.
With better incomes and better penetration of information through mobile phones and the internet, the opportunity to deepen uptake of insurance can have multiple benefits for the economy. The customer experience, though, remains one of the major stumbling blocks most organizations have to work on to smoothen out the process. It is often said that insurance is sold by pretty-looking young women and good-looking young men, but that insurance claims have to be made to formidable-looking people who are often intimidating and even scary, denting the customer experience. The jury, though, is still out on what impact this has in terms of uptake of insurance across the entire industry. Peter Wakaba, KTN News, Nairobi.
Legendary. Insurance is sold by